Picture the not-so-distant past, okay? An era defined by the sheer agony of a buffering internet connection, the rigid, non-negotiable dictatorship of scheduled television programming, and of course, those absolutely bloated, incredibly expensive monthly cable bills. Honestly, it feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
For decades, an entire billion-dollar industry held the reins. They controlled exactly what the world watched, exactly when they watched it, and precisely how much they paid for the privilege. It was an absolute ironclad monopoly on our living rooms. The power of traditional television networks seemed completely invincible.
Right up until one company came along and completely changed entertainment forever. One single relentless disruptor dismantled the Goliath of global media. They completely transformed our culture, our daily habits, and the very future of how humanity experiences stories.
Part 1. The Cable TV Monopoly.
It's wild to actually contrast these two paradigms. On one side, you've got the incredibly frustrating legacy model, expensive bundles forcing you to pay for hundreds of channels you literally never watched, rigid schedules, and constant annoying commercial interruptions. And then on the other side, a revolutionary vision. Affordable monthly subscriptions, on-demand viewing, and the birth of bingeable, commercial-free content. It was a total paradigm shift.
$50 million. Let that number sink in for a second. Back in the year 2000, Netflix was just a struggling DVD-by-mail startup that wasn't even profitable yet. Co-founders Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph flew out to Dallas to meet with Blockbuster executives. They offered to sell Netflix to the video rental giant for just $50 million to act as their online arm. As the story goes, the Blockbuster CEO essentially laughed them right out of the room, believing Netflix offered absolutely nothing that Blockbuster couldn't just do itself. Fast forward to today, Blockbuster is extinct and Netflix is a global empire.
Part 2. The Streaming Revolution. So Netflix gets founded in 1997 as an e-commerce DVD mailer, but by 2007, recognizing that internet bandwidth was finally starting to catch up, they launched their digital streaming service. They didn't just sit comfortably on their DVD success, they pivoted entirely. And look, it wasn't without some incredibly painful stumbles. In 2011, they tried to spin off their DVD service into a separate company called Quickster. It was a massive disaster. They lost 800,000 subscribers, and their stock absolutely tanked. But here is the genius of it all. They quickly apologized, completely scrapped the idea, and doubled down on streaming. They adapted at a relentless breakneck pace.
Think back to that massive cultural shift when you cut the cord for the very first time. It was so liberating, wasn't it? If streaming completely changed the way you and your family experience entertainment, go ahead and hit that like button.
Section 3. The Algorithm and Originals. Now, to conquer Hollywood, Netflix weaponized a radically unconventional, deeply ruthless corporate culture. Sheryl Sandberg actually once called their HR culture deck one of the most important documents to ever come out of Silicon Valley. Netflix operates on a no-rules-rules philosophy. They only want A players. In fact, if you give merely adequate performance there, you get fired with a generous severance package. They completely removed formal vacation tracking and expense policies, replacing them all with one simple mantra: act in Netflix's best interests. It was a psychological tool used to build an unstoppable corporate army that favored incredible, agile innovation over slow, bureaucratic processes.
Reed Hastings really hit the nail on the head here. Industrial firms thrive on reducing variation and minimizing errors, but creative firms, they thrive on increasing variation and innovation. To run a true creative powerhouse, you have to avoid strict rules, empower your top talent to make massive, sweeping decisions, and tolerate the inevitable mistakes just as long as you recover rapidly.
And this cultural agility perfectly positioned them to leverage their single biggest asset, data. When Netflix launched its first major original series, House of Cards, it wasn't some blind Hollywood gamble. Netflix was monitoring over 30 million plays a day. They tracked the rewinds, the fast-forwards, the searches. They knew exactly how many people loved the original UK series, how many loved director David Fincher, and how many loved actor Kevin Spacey. They greenlit a massive budget without even asking for a pilot episode. They literally engineered a hit using pure, hard data.
Section 4. The Fall of Cable. The reality for legacy media today is absolutely brutal. By late 2025, streaming shattered the records, commanding 47.5% of total TV usage. Broadcast is down to 21.4%, and cable has plummeted to just 20.2%. Streaming isn't just an alternative anymore, folks. It is the dominant way human beings consume video.
To really put this into perspective, pay TV penetration in the US peaked at 88% back in 2010. By 2026, it has plummeted below 50%. Over 80 million households rely purely on non-pay TV services. And what's truly terrifying for those legacy cable executives is the generational shift. Millennials definitely accelerated the cord cutting, but Gen Z, they are cord nevers. They have never had a cable box in their homes, and they never will. This mass exodus has caused cable companies billions upon billions in video and advertising revenue.
Part 5. The Streaming Wars. 325 million. That is Netflix's astonishing global paid subscriber base entering 2026. This unmatched scale creates a massive, unstoppable flywheel. More subscribers fund more content, which in turn attracts even more subscribers.
Let's break down the battlefield and look at how Netflix defends its throne. Amazon Prime Video leverages a massive retail bundle. Disney Plus banks entirely on the world's most valuable franchise IP, like Marvel and Star Wars, but they suffer when franchise fatigue inevitably sets in. And then you have YouTube, the ultimate dark horse, capturing 2.7 billion monthly active users with free, creator-driven content. So what is Netflix's key weakness here? Well, they don't have an ecosystem bundle like Amazon or Apple. They live and die purely on the strength of their standalone entertainment value.
Which leads us to the dark side of this dominance: $20 billion. That is the grueling annual content spend Netflix requires just to maintain that subscriber interest. It is a relentless treadmill, exacting a massive psychological and financial toll. Because they don't rely heavily on legacy franchises that can be turned into theme parks or merchandise, their content is often watched once and then buried. If they cancel a show early, it erodes subscriber trust. They have to keep feeding the machine year after year at an eye-watering cost.
Section 6. The future of entertainment. The entertainment landscape is facing a major breaking point. Consumers are experiencing massive subscription fatigue. The cost of having 5 different streaming apps is starting to look a whole lot like the old, expensive cable bundle we all ran away from. YouTube is fiercely competing for finite viewer attention. To adapt, Netflix is aggressively pivoting into TV-based cloud gaming just to keep users locked inside their ecosystem. And right on the horizon, generative AI threatens to radically lower the barriers to creating high-quality content, potentially flooding the market entirely.
The companies that adapt survive. The rest, they disappear. Just ask Blockbuster. If you want to understand the forces shaping our world, make sure you subscribe to join the top 1% who truly grasp business and innovation.
We want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your absolute favorite Netflix series of all time. Whether it's Stranger Things, Squid Game, or some incredible deep-cut documentary, it really proves the deep cultural connection this platform has built all across the globe.
We started this explainer looking back at the incredibly frustrating days of scheduled television and late fees. And what we've uncovered is a remarkable story of big data, a completely ruthless corporate culture, and some massive, bold bets. Netflix didn't just destroy cable TV. It changed the way humanity experienced entertainment forever. The only question now is, in the impending age of AI and endless content, who will disrupt Netflix? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.